Then we're going to deal with the performance real-time parameters. So the performance real-time parameters has a keyword in there, performance. It basically deals with all the parameters in the performance window. So I could choose a group, and you get to give these different tabs as different groups. I guess that's the official name for them, and that's probably what I should have been referring to them all the time, this whole time. So uh, we have the performance editor, I guess some things as a whole, like up in this window. So we have time signature. You can actually see that it's grayed out now. If I were to have that off, it would become available for editing, but right now it's grayed out. So that is just dealing with, I guess, the time signature. And since that's global across the performance, you're not going to choose a module for that. But other things you might actually choose a module for. For example, in GE setup, let's choose something there. We have the run parameter, and then you see this little info box pops up, and it's like, oh, select a module. We can actually choose multiple modules, which is pretty sweet. And then something like run only has two values, so it would just have a 0 and 1 as its minimum and maximum. We could flip those as well. We could choose 1 and 0. 1 is basically if we're going to use a switch, which would be the obvious thing to choose. 0 would be the minimum would be switch off, and the maximum would be switch on. Of course, we could just reverse the polarity, and then we get the opposite effect. So let's assign switch 1. And then I can go over here and just import the name. I remember last time that didn't work since I wasn't using anything, and I assigned a control to dynamic MIDI, which is, aside from the real-time controls in the master layer. But that aside, right now we have assigned it to a switch in the master layer. All of these, by the way, are assigned via the master layer. It's not like you could control the performance editor from like the control for an individual module. It makes sense. So when I click module run, it has the module run, and then I can take it off. And I'm actually kind of surprised. It looks like it doesn't correspond to the little button up there. Oh, you know what? It does, because I didn't select a module. So now when I click that off, you see that run is now off, and then it's on. Something I want to try out since I didn't do it last time. Let's go with let's assign something like what do we got? We got controls. Actually, let me see something in the GE setup. Transpose. How about that? So let's assign transpose to slider 1, but I want to have it as a slider with switch action, because I actually didn't go over an example of that last time. So slider with switch action, I'm actually not sure what that is. So let's check it out. If I go to GE setup, and let me just automatically import, where is it? Auto assign RTC names and layer. We have note transpose. So now when I move this, you see that it does change. I'm actually surprised it changes so drastically. Let's see if I can change that. Real-time parameters, GE setup transpose, first module, minimum 36 plus 36. Oh, I see. It makes the slider have switch-like action. Okay, so it makes it so whenever it's below 50%, it's just at the minimum value, and then above, it's at the maximum value. Cool. Did not know that. I guess I'll just well, you know what? I don't necessarily have to keep walking through all of the parameters. Well, no, you know what? I kind of will. I will, because there are some special parameters, like for example, in the GE setup, we could choose like octave transpose, and that is actually not a parameter that's like obviously available here. There's nothing called octave transpose, so it's something that's like only in the real-time parameters. And just like it sounds, it's intuitive. It transposes things up or down an octave. And so like, let's say that we have slider 1 assigned. And yeah, we'll have our value at 0. Let's see how that affects this. So let me move this, and it doesn't affect anything because I probably forgot to assign it a module. Choose module 1. And now back to GE setup. Let's see how this behaves. Yep, so it makes it jump up and down octaves. Let me see actually what if the minimum and maximum values affect anything. Like what if I have it at plus and minus 20, which is obviously not an octave. And then I go to GE setup, and then I move this. No, it looks like it does still jump octaves. So no matter what, that control does what it says, which is nice. I like that. Control. If it's a parameter that we already have gone over, then I'm not going to go over it again, but I'm just going to kind of hunt for anything that's different in here than what is available in our regular controls. Force range, we already know. Wrap, we already know. Root position, we know. Clock advance mode, we know. Yep. Okay. Note map transpose, note map keyboard track, owner review. So we have note map, yeah, transpose, and then keyboard track is what C2 is reference. Okay, cool. Yep. It's probably pretty boring for you, but I find this pretty interesting. Trigger window. Yep, all the same parameters. Key zones. So again, we have these octaves. Octave, is this octave 5th? Let's check this out. So that affects module 1. That's in our zones group. I should call it group instead of tab. And that was, sorry, was that for the inside zone or the outside zone? Octave 5th through inside zone. So that's only for things that are going through. Zones, transpose through inside zone, which is grayed out. Okay, it's in fifth. It's 5th octave, 5th octave. Got it. Very cool. I like that a lot. And that's everything. The other ones are just kind of like different versions of that. Well, one other version of that. Random seeds. Well, I haven't gone over the random seeds yet, but I can still kind of look for myself. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so we do have a different one. Increase length from reset. I think maybe everything with a little squiggly line is something that's different, something that's not available regularly. Cool. So we do have something that's different. I'll jump back and explain what this is after I go over this seeds group. But yeah, that's everything for the performance real-time parameters. So it's just things that deal with all of the different groups in the performance editor, as opposed to dealing with parameters from the GE. Yep, that's everything. Kind of a boring one, but I still found this interesting. Take care.